Men of Reddit, what pisses you off most about other men? Guys that behave desperate around women and won't stop hitting on them even if they clearly aren't interested. I once nearly got into a fight because this one guy was hitting on a good friend of mine and tried to get her attention by stealing her stuff, and when I stopped him he got really angry. A friend of mine did this in our early 20s. He was good with women at the time, and I struggled because I wasn't confident. One night at a party, I was having an unusually confident night with a woman I had an interest in. He came in and made a rude comment and killed my confidence. My older Marine friend at the party reached his long arm across the room and grabbed the back of his neck to have a conversation with him about his attitude and how to treat his friends, me. Complete different attitude after that. Still friends with both of them to this day. Unfortunately for the one guy, he's still being an ass when it comes to women. Now in our 30s and Marine buddy is married, I'm getting married, and the other buddy can't get a relationship to save his life. It all works out in the end. The guys that dog others to try to look good in front of women just end up looking like assholes and will never figure out why they can't land a long-term relationship. I don't have much to complain about my guy friends, however, I just hate some men who, when in a group, keep trying to establish dominance. They usually do that by being loud, interrupting people and laughing at you, instead of laughing with you. Edit, wow. Thanks for the awards. As people say, I didn't expect this to blow up. The newbie is flattered. Also, on the flip side, some guys can command respect of a group without even seeming to try. They are respectful and polite, don't need to raise their voices and know how to earn the respect of others. These are naturals, and guys, at least in my experience, tend to enjoy their company. A few years back in high school I almost fought a pervert that kept looking down the shirt of my friend. She was very beautiful so she got a lot of unwanted attention, but this guy was the worst. He'd force himself on her to give some hugs and tried to grab her thighs or tits a few times. Luckily I sat next to her so I'd stop him anytime he started while I was there. What makes it even worse is he thought my friend and I were dating. He said as much a ton of times. So he was okay with blatantly harassing a girl next to her boyfriend. Bold or stupid? Probably both. There was a popular post, or well-awarded reply on a top post, can't remember, about how this guy got revenge on his cheating wife. Comments/replies filled with praise and admiration and other men wishing they could be him, etc. Until you went into dude's comment history and read about how before he got married himself, he was sleeping with his married neighbor. While taking cash from the husband for doing odd jobs, around the house while hubby away. Guy didn't seem to recognize karma, I guess. I have a co-worker who is like this and I've found a pretty good solution, at least for him. If something comes up and he gets the attitude like I'm a dummy for not knowing about it, I just really lean into me not having any idea about it. He's really into cars and if a car thing comes up he'll start to get a bit shitty if someone doesn't know what they're talking about. I'll just say something like, dude, I've never worked on a car in my life. How the fuck would I know about this shit? Then his personality will flip and he'll just want to teach me about it. He's a great guy and is actually coming over to help me with my drywall this week. Speaking more broadly, I hate how so many guys seem completely unable to rein in their libidos. Catcalling strangers, hitting up women with super creepy messages, sending unsolicited porno, etc. Like, I get thinking with your dick, I've made plenty of bad mistakes myself because of it. But there's a world of difference between pulling stupid horny shit, and actively harassing other people and making them feel uncomfortable or unsafe. I'd blame it on a lack of self-control, but I think there's also certain cultural ideas about how men should act, perpetuated and reinforced by both men and women, that lead lots of guys to think that it's acceptable for them to act like horny apes because that's what men do. It's a similar issue behind guys acting overly aggressive and avoiding effeminate behaviors. It kind of makes you feel a little embarrassed for them sometimes. If they're outright calling themselves alpha or whatever, you can just totally discount them, of course, but a lot of guys will try little mind games without being as blatant, and that's just as annoying. Not moving aside to let people pass, or deliberately walking in front of people without looking. Trying stupid handshake games like squeezing too hard, not letting go, or pulling you too close. Making you wait or holding up a just a minute finger before responding to them talking to you. Pretending they don't remember who you are and saying "and you are." It's like, yeah bro, we've all seen those dominance games, but most of us have learned how to not do that shit and instead behave like civil humans in public, so we don't feel the need to try that. Also, people are laughing at you behind your back. Same guys are always totally different around women than around men, which is another dead giveaway of a guy with issues. The phenomenon of men agreeing with each other by going "not only that, but," 8-paragraph long diatribe, is hilarious to me, and I've done it so goddamn much myself. We all want the last word and the hottest take. I think it's easy to be insecure, and if your intelligence is ever praised, then maybe you're more likely to want to make sure the world knows you're knowledgeable. Edit. There's a difference between yes and I desperately need everyone here to know that I have the deepest understanding of the thing being discussed. It's really easy to switch between the two during a normal conversation, and I still do, but I used to, in that second group all the time, because my intelligence was often the only thing I felt I ever had going for me. That results in treating conversations as moments to show off rather than build relationships. I don't mean to say that anybody is bad for wanting to contribute to a conversation. When I was married to my ex-husband years ago, I was about 20 then, I started getting weird calls on my cell phone from a Texas number. Mind you, I lived in the East Coast. It would listen to me talk and abruptly hang up. It became so prevalent that I told my husband at the time about it, and he said, "Ask them what they want." Of course, never an answer. Well, I had worked at a campground, and a guy who worked there was overly nice to me, but he was local and I never connected him to the Texas number. Anyways, he offered me 2 tickets to a baseball game, and I didn't want to accept, but he insisted. He just did random shit like this, and I thought it was off, but I never flirted with him. I always kept my distance, etc. I was not attracted to him at all. He knew I had a husband and I was married, and he often made small talk with my husband. Anyways, I get a text message from the number saying meet me at a local grocery store outside. I started feeling weird. Did this person with a Texas number stalk me to my hometown? Is this someone in my town? My husband insisted I show up. This was so stupid and dangerous, I know, but my husband parked around the corner. The text told me to go inside to a certain aisle. I was not comfortable doing this at all, and all of a sudden hands cover my eyes. They turn me around, and it's that guy at my work, and he's really made me uncomfortable. I was really angry about this. I asked him how he got my phone number. He apparently got it off my boss's clipboard in the back office. He had been stalking me by my house. Worse, his family were pretty prominent in this town, and if I went to police I wouldn't be taken seriously. He was really offended it didn't turn out the way he expected. No, you see, I have this feeling in my stomach that says we're meant to be. My rational friends keep telling me that no, it's just a desire to mate, but you see, I was raised to be a good Christian boy, and therefore it can't be lust, so I rationalize its destiny. I know you told me no 12 times, but it's destiny, so eventually one of my creepy antics will work. It has to work. I don't have lust because I am better than everyone. I wish it didn't take me until 25 to figure out that regardless of personal belief, I am human like everyone else. I wish I had known that the butterfly stomach really is just a physical attraction and nothing more. I wish I had been less creepy with girls I thought I wanted and had given a chance with other girls, because as it turns out, those butterflies can in fact be grown on your own with someone special that you choose. My favorite all-time construction super is this foul-mouthed old dude with a giant white beard who looks like a jacked evil Santa Claus. He's got a million little tricks and shortcuts and easier ways to do things, and he says them all mixed with all these weird old phrases you don't hear much, like getting your horn scraped or give the old how's your father. He may just be making up phrases as he goes, we have no way of knowing, but if you're out there Richard I, hope you're swearing and teaching a carpenter how to bend nails and use them to hold lumber against pre-drilled concrete. The bent nail stays in the hole you drill into the concrete, so you don't have to use a gunpowder actuated nail gun to tack wood to concrete for forms or bollards or what have you, or whatever the hell trick it is you're sharing today. Sorry if this isn't the same, but that reminded me of something. There's a woman I consider as just a friend, and there's a guy and he's a friend of hers. One day I found him on Facebook, and though he was cool, so I sent him a friend request. Then the shitstorm happened. He then started to tell me to back off from her, she has a boyfriend, I'm going to protect her, etc. The way he acted, it looked like he was a neck-bearded, nice guy trying to be next in line if and when she broke up with him. All I remember telling him was that I only considered her as a friend and I knew she was with someone, then blocked him. Looking back on it, he had that vibe while seeing him in public as well. I used to work at a gas station and it was part of my job to clean the pumps. So I was out cleaning the pumps when I noticed that someone left their pump unattended while it was filling, illegal in my area. I took the pump handle out to stop the gas because it's a safety hazard. The car's owner came out while I was still cleaning and I confronted him, firmly but politely, "Excuse me sir, but it's illegal to leave the pump unattended while filling your vehicle." This a-hole stepped up to within inches of me, clearly trying to intimidate me. "Oh yeah, is that so?" "Yes, it is illegal." Then I turned around and went back inside. I'm a 5 feet 5 inches woman BTW. I just wonder what kind of upbringing that asshole had to think that kind of behavior was okay. I try not to do that sort of thing too often now because there are some real nutters out there who would take a swing at me regardless of witnesses. I, female, have this problem with other women. I give people genuine compliments and tell them they look gorgeous that day, and I get asked if I'm part of the alphabet mafia, specifically a lesbian. Because I can't give compliments and not be one, right? I made a pact with myself years ago that no matter how I felt, I would give one person a genuine compliment every day. The only people I've noticed have an issue with it are the ones who have self-esteem issues and don't understand why someone would be nice to them unless they wanted something in return. This is an issue across the spectrum of humanity, but I also agree it's worse for men to give compliments and not be perceived as gay/be questioned about their sexuality. Agreed. I was in a band with a guy for a while who reeked of that machismo bullshit. He always talked big and tough and acted like he'd kick anyone's ass who gave him shit, but when he actually made anyone mad and thought he might have to back any of his shit up, he'd deflate and retreat. There was an instance where he insisted that a snare drum that did not belong to him did. It was our drummer's. It happened to be at my place because that's where we rehearsed, but instead of sorting out the issue with the drummer, he showed up at my place with some thugs. The drummer said to let him have the damn thing at that point because it wasn't worth it, but seriously, what the ever-loving fuck? Sometime after that, he was definitely no longer part of the band at that point. We happened to both be at the same bar on the same night. We noticed each other at the same time, and I saw him make an oh shit face and slink away like a frightened weasel. This is the key to humility. I think men naturally feel insecure when they do not have any actual valuable skills and abilities, and I don't think any amount of feel-good, positive thinking bullshit will change that. But if you've spent years developing yourself and acquired skills that you've successfully put into practice and you became self-sustaining, then at that point you should be secure enough in what you've accomplished to admit what you don't know and learn from others. Humility is critical if you want to continue to learn. Everybody starts a new hobby or activity as a beginner, and if you come in with a huge ego with nothing to back it up, you just look ridiculous and it inhibits your learning. I used to buy my ex-fiancée flowers every other week. I did it to show I cared and because it helped uplift our living space. Every time without fail if I'd pass some random old guy they'd laugh at me, ask what I'd done wrong, say oh someone's in trouble, or just imply that I've somehow been emasculated. Like for fuck's sake it could be for someone's grave for all you know. I'm 6'4", tatted, generally pretty high testosterone type guy, but I don't ever need to justify any of my actions to the imaginary high council of manly men. You can bench press a defeated mountain lion in the morning and unwind with a pina colada in the bubble bath while wearing a charcoal face mask in the evening, the two are not related at all. Haven't took the best read of this post, so my apologies if someone else has already said it. But the way men treat women in the gaming community. It ranges from 13 to 40-something-year-old men that constantly harass, both sexually and just insulting, women constantly. I understand maybe if someone's bad at the game, sure, but constant discrimination just because of their gender? The sexist make me a sandwich jokes aren't even a massive concern anymore, which is sad, and I'm not trying to downplay it, since it's being outshined by literal sexual harassment, asking for nudes or calling them whores or saying absolutely disgusting things to them. More using this comment as a way of ranting because my heart gets broken every time my girlfriend comes to me talking about all the fucked up shit that's been said to her. Just that day. Shit needs to change, man. I just wish these people's partners or moms or friends or sisters could hear half the shit they say and just leave them alone to suffer. Edit, forgot to add that the majority are underage. They are committing literal crimes, just under the safety veil of the internet. People like that deserve whatever fucked shit happens to them. How hard it is to have emotional, heart-to-heart conversations with them. Like, sometimes I'm having a hard day and I just want to talk to someone and maybe even have a shoulder to cry on, and it sucks that none of my male friends feel like options. Meanwhile, my wife has seemingly endless options with all her girlfriends, sad face. That said, this is just as much on me as it is on the other guys, maybe even more so. And perhaps I shouldn't feel so frustrated at other men specifically, but just at whatever combination of factors have led to this being a problem that basically every guy has to deal with. I feel much more comfortable talking to women about such things, like my sisters-in-law or, obviously, my wife, but there's a frustrating taboo in my particular culture that makes getting too emotionally open with a woman, and vice versa, a big no-no. Sorry, this went a little off topic, lol. I guess I just needed to vent some frustration. When guys are fishing for collaborators or so-called locker room crap. For example, it'll be stuff like haha yeah women say no but you just got to show them who's boss, or come on, no one is really going to get much done working under a hot lady, they'll just be staring at her tits all day, or some races are more prone to violence, just look at the numbers. Usually accompanied by some you know what I mean or us vs them, you understand right insinuation. Straight to cold rage because they'll deflect with some haha I'm just kidding shit. Think that's what makes me angriest, because at one naive point I believed that they were joking. That crap I always thought was so obviously stupid that I legitimately thought that it had to be a self-parody or something. That no one could feel that way and not just get hit by a car when crossing a street because they couldn't process basic logic. But nope, this is how they probe for backup, mincing behind the benefit of the doubt. When other guys automatically assume I like sports. I don't like sports at all, I'm just not interested in football or anything, so no, I don't want to talk about sports. Also, guys that constantly complain about women because they're single and then go like women only go for rich guys or guys with a six-pack. Yeah, because everyone who has a girlfriend/wife happens to be rich or has a six-pack. No, maybe just maybe you have shitty taste in women or you're just a dick. You don't need to be rich or have a six-pack to get a girlfriend. Or the guys that use the word simp way too much, like if you're simply being nice to a woman and treating them like a human being, you're suddenly a simp. Got called a simp once by this one guy for simply saying women are also human beings and deserve equal rights. The whole alpha male bullshit. I'm a gay guy, and when I had to move into a group home, thank you COVID, I got along pretty well with these two straight dudes. Unbeknownst to me, I was part of a hierarchy I knew nothing about. Obviously they considered me on the lowest rung of the totem pole, while I just thought they liked to make fun of themselves. Until one day they flexed on me and then lost their damn minds when I flexed back. Basically they did something shitty to me and I called them out on it. That was pretty disrespectful, don't it again. They didn't like that, and when they tried to push, I told to leave me alone. All those idiots had to do was give me some space. I would have just needed a day and then it would have been cool. I would have limited my time with them and that would have been that. Did I mention that they were idiots? I didn't truly appreciate the gravity of their bullshit until the guy, who I guess was supposed to be the beta, came to me and said that they had been waiting for me to come to them and apologize. That did it for me. I too have an abundance of testosterone and would have died 100,000 gruesome deaths before I ever approached them in any way that could be construed as subservient. I didn't beat my chest and growl, I just ignored them to focus on my own shit. They did not like that and could not accept that I found them not worth my time. So they threw many temper tantrums. An example, I eat oatmeal, fruit, and a couple of eggs most mornings. One day the alpha came down and complained that what I made for breakfast stank and that he was sick and tired of smelling it. I just looked at and went back to my coffee and read it. Then he started accusing me of not being a man or man enough to confront him or some such other bullshit. I knew then that I was handling the situation appropriately.